Hey guys, welcome to this week's episode of The Real Housewives of New Jersey. Boys will be boys. And this episode was for the boys. You know, the husbands got paid this episode. So where we last left off was Melissa and Teresa disputing and how Melissa didn't defend Teresa. And I'm like, I didn't want to come back to this. I want this to be over with and move on. So let's get to this part so we can move this out the way. So pretty much Teresa is upset with Melissa because Teresa Wait, what did I say? No, Teresa was upset with Melissa because Melissa didn't defend Teresa and wasn't rooting for Louis and hers relationship. Where Melissa stands by, no, she wants nothing but the best for her relationship and she wants Teresa to be happy. So once she said the magic words that she wants Teresa to be happy, Teresa, she calms, she drops it, Melissa drops it and they both say that they're fine. Let's move on, let's move forward. And, you know, Melissa's okay with everything. She just want to go by what Teresa's going with, you know. She's okay with not being in Teresa's wedding as a bridesmaid. And that leads to Teresa, you know, kind of giving an invitation for Melissa to be one of the bridesmaids. And, you know, Melissa was like, no, I'm not having that. No. You can't uninvite me to uninvite me again. You're not going to do that. So Melissa says no, she's fine where she's at. She's just there to support Teresa. And Melissa say this is going to be the last time that they talk about this. And, you know, as viewers, as the audience, we know damn and for sure this is not the last time we're going to hear about this. Oh, no. This, I think they're going to drag this to as long as they can milk it for. I'm like over it. I know you guys are over it. Let's hope that they can soon move on from it. But that was the end of the mozzarella party. Thank you, Danielle, for hosting your first party for the Housewives. There was no glass destroyed. There was no destructions. Just words just thrown around. So that's not a bad party. We then get a little, you know, those daily scenes. We see Margaret and her husband. They're flirting with each other. They seem to have a very spicy relationship. So I wish we could see a little bit more of that. I'm a little bit nosy. I kind of want to know more about their relationship, you know, even though we know a lot from Margaret's book, but I want to see more. I'm a little bit nosy. We then get to see a little small scene with Rachel and her family, and damn, her family, they're so funny. I love these new housewives and their family. It's like the perfect setup. Like we've seen many times where new housewives, they come into the situation and, you know, the housewives are great, but the husband is like so boring and so dull. Or, you know, the kids are so shy, not much opinion, don't want to be filmed. But Danielle and Rachel, their kids, their family, killing it. Loved it. I love the little scene with Rachel and her kid and her daughter. She was trying to say fork, but you know, you heard what she was actually saying, the F word, which I think was a little bit adorable. Even though some people may not approve, I thought it was adorable. Fight me in the comments, but it was adorable. So we then get a scene at Dolores' house. And Dolores and Mr. Paul, we're going to call him Mr. Paul, we're having a little conversation about Frank. They're pretty much waiting for Frank to come in to get the final finishings done for the photo shoot for the calendar for charity. And so, you know, Dolores and her man is talking, and, you know, Dolores is talking to her man, saying how they need to talk to each other, you know, work things out and whatnot. And, you know, Frank, he knocks on the door, and I'm like, yes, Frank, that's called boundaries. Because he's saying, oh, I got to knock now. Try to make that a joke. But I'm glad to see that Dolores, when she wants to lay out boundaries, she follows them. Because some other housewives are now learning some boundaries with their now ex-husband. I'm talking about Ashley Darby with Michael Darby. You know, I remember in their reunion that just happened just a few days ago, This discussion was about establishing boundaries for your ex so that you can move forward in your new relationship. And here's the perfect example for Ashley that she could use to refer to see how Dolores is establishing boundaries for Frank so that Frank can respect the relationship that she's trying to start with Mr. Paul. So Mr. Paul is in the kitchen and he sees Frank, and they are actually very amicable. They joke around here and there. They have their cute nicknames for each other. But Mr. Paul is talking about a little bit of business. Mr. Paul, he says that Frank should have been the one to kind of lay out how their relationship's supposed to go about, to kind of say the ins and outs of their relationship, not Dolores. And Frank is like, how am I supposed to do that? I don't have your phone number. I don't have nothing. But he does want to make it right and set boundaries to clear things up with Frank so that he's comfortable with him around Dolores. Because Frank noticed the change with Dolores ever since Mr. Paul came into the picture. So pretty much Mr. Paul, he says that, you should have come to me man to man to really talk about this, to make, the whole situation much better and much more comfortable. And, since Frank disagreed about that and Paul's response was that, that's not a woman's job to do what a man is supposed to do. I was like, I'm like, I could understand Paul's perspective, but him saying that out loud, I'm like, sir, you don't need to say all that out loud. Like, we can understand the undertones, but you didn't need to say that like that. Like, Dolores, are you okay? Like, I know this is completely different from your previous relationships, but I'm gonna keep an eye out for Mr. Paul. He's still on a good page with me. I'm just taking it as he's just trying to, assert himself as a man, to let Frank know that that's his woman, and that if there's any issues or any misunderstandings, you could come through me. You don't need to go through my girl. That's how I took it. How did you guys take it? Because I don't know. I'm gonna keep my eye out for Mr. Paul. And in Frank's confessional, he didn't say all this in front of Paul, but he's like, "What the hell is this shit? Like, what the hell is that?" Like, all fussy about it. But Frank, he wants to make things work with Dolores, and to have the friendship that they have, the relationship that they have, and maintain that. So he's gonna do what he got to do, and Dolores is gonna set the standard of what needs to be done, because Miss Dolores does not play. And I think she was a correctional officer, if I can recall that well enough, but she does not play, okay, with these guys. So then we get a little cute funny scene with Frank coming out as the sexy Easter bunny for the photo shoot. I'm like, these guys, what they will do for Dolores used to give these girls a class in setting boundaries and getting what you want. Because Dolores, she has these guys, acting correctly. I just want to see her happy, Hopefully there'll be some wedding bells for Miss Dolores. So I would love to see that for her. We next get a scene with the girls. It's a girls' lunch. It's Jackie, Margaret, and Melissa. And we get to actually have a full-on scene with Jackie. So we get to get kind of an update. Because remember, Jackie, she's step back from being housewife to not being a friend of in the show. And I feel like it was primarily because of her eating condition, where she had a bad relationship with foods. And she was taking a lot of therapy courses and focusing on herself and her family, so she didn't prioritize being a housewife so much. So she's a friend of in the show. So we have a cute little scene with Jackie, Melissa, and Margaret. And what we gather is that, Jackie has improved, and the girls, they notice a difference in Jackie, which is good for her. I'm happy to see that. And the girls, they're so reassuring to Jackie about her appearance to make sure that she feels that she looks good. So they get into it about what happened at the mozzarella party. Because remember, Jackie was not invited by Miss Danielle to the party. And that kind of made Jackie feel some type of way, because she was trying to understand what the issue was because she only have been in a scene with Danielle twice. They've been around each other for 2 occasions. So why you're not including me into a party? Because, when they're not included into something, that means they're not getting paid for something. That's just how it goes. And, even though Jackie, she doesn't need the money, doesn't mean she doesn't want the notoriety. She wants to be seen. She wants the cameras to be filmed. Girl wants her moment, okay? So, of course, she wants to address some things so that more occasions doesn't come up and she's not invited. So the girls let her know that, the reason why Danielle felt some type of way is because you looked her up and down at the party. And funny enough, Jackie, I love how Jackie is. She's coming. I don't know. I always like Jackie. Jackie always come with some good comebacks. So that's for sure. But Jackie was like, I don't do it to anybody, but I did look her up and down. And all the girls, they were laughing. I was laughing. I gagged. I was like, oh my God. We kind of need Jackie back in the situation, guys. And, the girls are like, why? And Jackie's like, her outfit was a train wreck. And I'm like, this is so mean, girls. This is like, gosh, come on. And pretty much she roasted Danielle for her shorts, saying it came out the hamper. And I didn't feel like it came out the hamper. I felt like maybe, it's a different style from what Jackie would have worn. But that's you, Jackie. She's a grown woman. She dressed her own damn self. Let her come how she wanna come, okay? But damn, not that it came out the hamper. Like, when you say it like that, that means it wasn't ironed, it wasn't pressed, it wasn't a thought out look. But, this is Danielle's first season, she's a rookie. So let her, make her own mistakes. Because ultimately, Jackie, you don't want her to stay. You don't want to give her the content to stay. Like, that will actually cement her to being a housewife. You get her bothered and get her activated. So I don't know, Jackie. Play it smart. You want to come back as a housewife, so don't give these other girls a reason to stay cemented in their position, So, Margaret, she transitioned over talking about Miss Jennifer Aiden. And pretty much, the girls, they came to kind of a consensus, guys. They came to a consensus, and they felt like Jennifer was having some issues, and they think it's something about her marriage, because they said something has been off, but they haven't pointed to what. But I'm like, girls, don't play with our intelligence, okay? Don't play with me. Don't play with us, the viewers. These girls obviously know something, but they're not gonna expose anything yet. Why? Because they don't want to come off as the bad guys. If Jennifer just breathed the wrong way, guys, these girls are gonna expose what is wrong. So we're going to see what's going on, because we kind of see it happening, unveiling itself as the season moves forward. Even though we're on the 3rd episode, I'm like looking at the 1st episode. I'm like, damn, something is wrong. Episode 2, something's wrong. Episode 3, it's boiling. It's boiling hot water. And we saw a preview for episode 4, and it's the steam is coming out. And I'm like, damn, these girls know something, because they're trying to play like they don't know. And I'm like, don't play with us. We then get a scene with Rachel and her family, her husband and her baby girl, going to do a photo shoot. And so they say they do photo shoots quite often, and that's primarily because, it was quite difficult for them to have a baby. So because they have a baby now, they cherish every moment and want to celebrate every moment. Rachel, she tells us about pretty much what she went through. She said that the process was difficult for her to have a baby. She was pregnant at one point, very early on, right after she got married, but she suffered a miscarriage and was unable to become pregnant again. And I felt like, oh, that's so sad, because, when we meet and see Rachel, she's like so happy, so uplifted. But, hearing like her backstory, about her trying to have a family, it made me felt sad. And I was like, wow, there's a lot of dimensions to her. She gives us happy, but she also gives us personal because, God forbid these housewives open up about their life and get paid for a check, So what she did do is that they did do IVF and they were successful. Of course, you see they have one baby, a baby girl right now. She also has a stepson, but she has one baby that she was able to have through IVF. And now she has 5 embryos. So she kind of wants to move forward and have more kids. Because ideally she wants to have 4 kids. And 4 kids sounds about nice to her. So she wants to get it started. And the guy, he's like, oh, not yet. And she's like hilarious. She's like, you don't even have to do much. I'm the one that's going through all the hardships and the pain. Like, come on. And I'm with her. I'm with her right there because, if she really wants to do this and, her husband knows how much she wants it, they can work together and, get it done, guys. Get it done. And I love her husband. Her husband's hilarious. Like, total vibe. Like, this is a perfect situation. Like I said before, it's rare that you have a housewife that's interesting, that her husband likes to film and is happy, and they have a good relationship with each other, and on top of that, their kids are entertaining. That's the perfect situation for the perfect housewife, if I could write a book. We then get a scene with Gia and Teresa. They're hanging out. Gia's having her little lunch. And Gia, she's sweet because I'm not this sweet. Gia, she's like offering her mom, you want some of my salad? Try it. You will really like it. And Teresa's like, no, I need to lose 10 pounds before the wedding. And like Gia's like, it's salad. Like, it's salad. And I'm like, oh, Teresa, please. And then Louis, he comes in and, they start talking about like the wedding and everything. And then Teresa, she brings up what happened at the mozzarella party. I'm like, damn, they're doing everything else but talk about how to make mozzarella at the mozzarella party. Like, did anything else happen to the mozzarella party? Like, sheesh. Well, anyways, when Teresa tells about what happened to the mozzarella party, I'm like, wait a minute, Teresa, that did not happen. She lays it out as saying that, Melissa, she brought up about the engagement party and the seating situation, and I'm like, Melissa didn't bring it up. I'm not the biggest fan of Teresa. I'm not the biggest fan of Melissa. But Melissa, I have to defend her here. Melissa did not bring up the engagement party. It was actually Margaret. And that's because Jennifer goes and tell Teresa that, have me sit away as far as possible from these people. And, and then Teresa says, you know what? I'm doing this thing where there's no assigned seatings. And then she brings it up to the girls. So Teresa, she brings it up to the girls about the seating situation. And Margaret was the one to co-sign and say, yeah, that's a great idea for you because you know what happened at the last engagement party. And the reason why Melissa interjected is because there was a difference in facts from what happened in Melissa's perspective and what happened in Teresa's perspective. So, Teresa, when you do that, you lose your credibility, and I don't like that because we want to believe what you have to say because we want to get to the bottom of mending this relationship with your brother, and it starts with getting to what the truth is. So I'm like, damn, Teresa, that's not what happened. But anyways, she said that pretty much that Melissa, she brought up the engagement party, and then Gia, she was pretty much concluding that Melissa always has to bring these things up to make you look bad, my mom look bad. And she, Gia, she defends her family. She rides for her family. So, if Gia got a problem, best believe she's going to address it. That's a future housewife in the making. I'm telling you that. But, they talk about this, and then we see Adriana, she walk into the scene, and I'm like, wait a minute. This is rare that this happens because Adriana, she's actually the one who don't like to film and talk about family issues. So for her to participate, she must want to say something to get her side out there, And pretty much it seemed like they started over the scene again. So there, Teresa's pretty much saying everything she had said to Gia and her fiance, her now husband, but she added that Melissa. She asked Melissa to be a part of the wedding, and she said no. And this made Gia's face turn because, she wished Teresa never even asked her that, because she knows that her mom is still upset that Melissa said out there to the public that she was there for the girls while her mom was away at prison. And I'm like, there you got it. There you go. This is why they are fighting. This is why Teresa is mad. I don't care about the seating arrangement. I don't care about, Melissa not defending Louis, Joey not defending Louis. This is about this pivotal moment that took away the time that Teresa could have spent with her family, and that her supposed family didn't have her back. And they're saying that they had her back. This is why they're fighting. And I wish they were just honest about it, because come on. We all see it now. We can all see it. What do you guys think? I think this is what it is. And, the girls say that the only time that they were around was when they were filming, and you get the flashback and you see like, damn, that was really a tough moment for them. And Adriana is so sweet, and this is what gives you have to believe Adriana. Like, why? She has no reason to lie. Someone can get into her head, but those emotions, like, a kid is not gonna lie and say you were there when you weren't there. They're not gonna do that for you, okay? So Adriana, she's so sweet. She's like, why would they say that? Like, why? Because she finds that not only hurtful, but it sucks because it's not true. Like, credit shouldn't be given where it's not earned. And I'm like, we see how this directly affects her. And it directly affects her literally, because she breaks out in hives, And then next thing you know, you see Teresa turning into a mama bear. Like, her face is just, she's upset. She doesn't like to see her daughter break out in hives. And this not only upsets Teresa, but it also upsets Gia, which, sets off Louis, because, these are Louis' girls now. Like, that's his family. So Louis is starting to get riled up and emotional about this, because he's upset to witness this as well. So Louis is going to defend these girls. So the next time Melissa and Joy is together with a room with Louis and Teresa, oh my God, guys. Oh my God. We then get a scene with Danielle, my favorite new housewife, with Melissa. Melissa, you need Danielle. Danielle is giving food on your kid's plate, okay? So Danielle's off with Melissa, and they're looking to buy... she's looking to buy some stuff to put into the store for Envy. So Danielle is kind of like shadowing Melissa, see what she does so she could learn for her own business, So Melissa is like, showing what she's getting. It's the holiday season, so she needs stuff that is sparkling. She goes around and shops, but she's like joking around with Danielle that sometimes you shop for yourself, even though you're supposed to shop for the client that's shopping at your store, which is all cute and dandy. So move on. But Melissa, she brings up her lunch with Margaret and Jackie to Danielle. And you see Danielle, she hears her best friend name brought up, Jackie. That's her new best friend. So Melissa, she tells Danielle what's going on, what's the tea. So pretty much she explains that Jackie was insulted that she was not invited to the mozzarella party, because if you weren't at the mozzarella party, where were you at, girl? Okay, so I wanted to be in the mozzarella party. Danielle, invite me to the mozzarella party next time, okay? Please, thank you. So Melissa told her that Jackie said about her shorts, and I'm like, to be a fly in the wall. We are actually literally a fly in the wall. that Melissa told her that Jackie talked about her shorts being pulled from the hamper. And, Danielle's response was pretty chill. She's like, good. I'm happy. I'm glad I didn't invite her. She did not get to enjoy this mozzarella at the mozzarella party. Because if you were not at the mozzarella party, where were you at? So Danielle, she goes on, and I love her. She's like, oh, but I think this can also be taking shots if this is taken the wrong way. I didn't take it the wrong way, but Danielle was like, oh, she's just jealous of my legs. And I'm like, Danielle, I guess she doesn't know Jackie unless she haven't seen the show to know that Jackie has body image issues alongside with her food eating issues. So I don't know. I don't take it as a malicious comment. Let's not take it as a malicious comment. But if Jackie takes it as a malicious comment, then Danielle has to apologize. I'm sorry, because what we do in 2023 is if someone feels offended, you must apologize. Period. No but period. No comma, no buts. Period. And so Danielle, okay, so this is actually nice. So Danielle offers her perspective, and we also get to learn a little bit about Danielle. She gives perspective to Melissa and Teresa's family issues. So Danielle pretty much can relate because, she opens up and says that she doesn't talk to her brother. And what happened was pretty much, it's kind of silly too, for me, from my perspective, is that she was making TikToks because she wanted to make income like anyone else was wanting to do back in 2020 when COVID was going on. And her brother actually made fun of her, and because he made fun of her, she blocked him. But what she didn't realize is how upset the brother would be that he got blocked. So I'm like, huh? And Melissa's like, huh, too, because, like, girl. And then Melissa said what I was thinking. She's like, no, I think I'm missing something. Clarify a little bit more. And Danielle, she pretty much actually gets into what's really into the issue. Like, Danielle pretty much gave her unwanted 2 cents to her brother about his wedding. And when she did that, the brother kicked her and her family out from the wedding, and they haven't spoken since. And Danielle actually blames the wife for not helping to resolve the situation. And that's kind of a little bit triggering because Melissa says she's the wife too in this situation, but she feels like she tried and she's tired. And I can see some similarities, but I feel like Teresa's and Joey's issues go so much longer than COVID. COVID was like, when they filmed this, probably 2.5 years ago, but now it's 3 years ago. So it's still in the newer stages compared to what Teresa and Joe is going through. But I can see your points. I do think that Melissa and Louis can help resolve the situation. I think if they don't get into the drama and put themselves into the situation, then that wouldn't cause Teresa and Joey to defend their loved ones for the sake of their relationship, Interesting. We then get a scene with Jennifer with her family. And, she's always, like, I love seeing Jennifer and her family because she's always around her kids. And, her kids are quite entertaining. And Jennifer, she's trying to have the kids do their chores. And the way she's going to get them to do this is by paying them to do chores. And she wants to compensate pretty much minimum wage, which is $13 in their area, and the kids rounded out to 14. So she's okay with doing that because she finds that doing this is kind of like a way to reward the kids for having to go through finding out about the infidelity with her husband, because it was hard on the kids. So she tries to make it up to them by kind of like buying them their happiness. And Bill, he's a stricter parent. He's like, no. he wants his kids to be competent and want the kids to be able to do their chores properly and not having to be heavily compensated for something that they should be doing. So you see the difference in parenting, and that kind of creates a conflict between the two. So anywho, Jennifer, she tells Bill about the mozzarella party, because if you were not at the mozzarella party, where the hell were you at? So she tells him about the party, and she's like, basically, Margaret calls her she calls her not self-reflective, okay? And Jennifer's response is that she's the most self-reflective. And usually the person who says it like this is not the one to be talking. And she asks Bill, what do you think? And Bill looks at her like, I don't know. But he starts to get into a long response, and she just wants yes or no, and she just wants support. Jennifer gets irritated, and you see the frustration building up. It's boiling, guys. And Jennifer just wants him to have her back, and I can understand that. You don't want every time your man defending everyone else but you. Like, sometimes you just want your man to just defend you, period. No buts, just period. And I'm like, the tension is too much. Too much. We then get to see Danielle's cute house. She doesn't like her house being called cute, so what we're going to call it, cute. So we see Danielle at her house, and her dad and her mom comes over. Her parents are divorced, and at one point, they were not amicable at all. But what brought them together is Danielle giving birth to her son, and pretty much she said, if you want to see her son, you want to be a part of her son's life, y'all have to work it out. So what did they do? They worked it out. So you get to see, oh my god, they have this cute moment where the daughter is pretty much putting on a show. And I love this. I used to do this when I was little. So her daughter puts on a show for the family, and she's like super smart. She knows all the artists, so she gives a little bit a description of what this artist likes to do designs of. And then at the end of the show, her son gives her daughter flowers, and they hug and they leave, and everyone's clapping, and it's just so cute. And this moment makes her think about her relationship with her brother. She opens up and say that her mom doesn't talk to her brother. So that's unfortunate to hear. But the only one who talks to him is the dad. So the dad is what is trying to be the mediator and bring his kids together. And he is like super, super emotional. And it was actually a sad and opening moment. And I'm like shocked, because I'm like, oh, these people are made for the camera. They're super comfortable in front of the camera and opening up about their lives. And, hopefully, the son, he sees this TV episode, and that this will bring them together. And wait. And I just have an aha moment. Okay. Imagine if this moment brings them back together, and the son comes on the television show. So what are we getting? Teresa and Joe Gorga part 2, like, that wouldn't be a bad thing. I maybe want to see that. Wouldn't that be interesting? I wonder. This would be a good setup, though. That's for sure. We then get a scene at Melissa with her family at the Shore House. And Melissa's side of the family is in town at the Shore House. They come over to hang out. And, the family is talking, and what they always going to talk about? They're going to talk about Teresa. And I actually didn't like this. I was kind of like, damn, Teresa, you didn't invite Melissa's side of the family? That's kind of unfortunate. That's how you bring in other people into your drama. Instead of it being between Mono and Mono, you have Mono and this one, Tres, Cuatro, Cinco, all of them included. And it's like completely unfortunate, because Melissa's side of the family seemed like good people. As Joey mentioned, he was actually quite upset, because he said that, they Melissa started a family, had a good relationship with his mother and father. So for them to not be included is like a disrespect to the mother and father. So Joey, you know, he understands that he needs to have a talk with Louis to make Teresa to talk to Teresa to make the situation better. But he points out that Louis only makes the situation worse. And so this brings up the part where he's going to a boys' event where Louis is going to be there. And I'm like, you see, this is the thing. Teresa wants Melissa to resolve, and Joy wants Louis to resolve. And instead of the two to resolve, like, everyone is pushing these two should fix it out, work things out together, and not drag other people. And I agree. They can help, but these people don't know how to help. And it's like the whole world is watching you guys fail doing this over and over again. We then get to the boys having their boys' day. Because, of course, this episode is called Boys Will Be Boys. So let's get that. So we know for a fact that these guys got paid. They got paid. The only franchise where the men get paid. And if I was a man from any other franchise, I don't know if I would be hating or what. But these guys are getting paid. So they have their whole own scene and everything. The cameras propped up just for them. It's funny enough, Margaret's husband came in a shirt that Margaret picked. So Margaret was heavily influential into the scene. I was surprised to see Evan was there. Who else I was shocked to see? Everyone was there. I was like, wow, Jackie's husband is here. I didn't think he would show up. Because, you know, we had seen a few moments with Jackie. And Jackie had a scene. But her husband had a full-on scene. And pretty much all the guys, even the new husbands, were here. John Fuda, I love, has a great sense of humor. He shows up to the party. And, you know, pretty much he challenged the boys that he's going to outdrink them. So he shows up to the party with some diapers because he's going to put those boys in diapers. And I'm like, this husband has a great sense of humor. Go, Rachel. Paul, Frank tells us that Paul is not coming because of work. But he also brings up the fact that he had a discussion with him and Dolores. And that there's a dynamic change that they're trying to work on. So he doesn't know. With Paul not showing up, maybe there was a change of mind, like what's going on. But Frank definitely wants to move and work things out so he can have his friendship back with Dolores. And, you know, the guys are messing with him and saying, how can you let a man take your woman, you know? And, like, these kind of jokes, I don't know if it bothers Dolores or not. But it's quite interesting. We are watching. We want to know if Frank still loves Dolores. Of course, he still loves her, but is not that kind of love, you know? So we have Bill. He shows up, you know, and, you know, Bill, what's interesting about Bill, he makes a comment. He says he is the brother-in-law that Louis never had, which takes shots at Joey because Joey tried to be nice to Louis. Like, I feel like Joey tries hard to get along with his brother-in-law because he failed the first time with Joe Judas and he's failing now with Louis. So if you have an issue with 1 and 2, at some point you start to have to think that if the problem is yourself, you know? At least I would as a strategy. And so Louis, he comes in late. And, you know, before he comes in late. So Joey, he tells the guys how his mother and sister-in-law were not invited to the party. And, you know, that's when Louis comes in and he's late. And Louis, he comes in, he takes all the shots, he's nice, he wants to have a good time. And, you know, the question comes up about the bachelor party. Like, when's the bachelor party? What we're doing? What's the plan? Louis, he says, what's the plan? He says the guys get together in one group, the girls get together in one group, and then later they meet together at the end of the night. And the guys are like, no, I don't want to see my wife at the end of the night, which is hilarious. And these guys are funny. And then that leads Joey to bring up, so who's invited to the bachelor party? And Louis, he's kind of, which was interesting to me, Louis says, why are you asking? As if maybe he wants to make a request or blah, blah, blah. But Joey, he brings up how in the wedding, Louis and Teresa didn't invite Melissa's side of the family. And he asked Louis if he has met Melissa's side of the family, if they're good people. And Louis says, yeah, they're good people. But pretty much there's a reason why that they're not invited. And pretty much he says that Melissa's side is not invited because of past Louis stuff, not past Teresa stuff, like stuff that happened in the past, And, this upsets Joey tremendously because he's pretty much calling Louis out, saying, how can you let her do that? Why are you not getting involved in this and say that, you can't do this. That's not right. This is family. And Louis pretty much said that, Teresa's a grown woman. She's 50, okay? She's 50 and she wants to have who she wants around her. And I'm like, okay, you respect your woman. He's going to stand by his woman. Pretty much he stands by Teresa, and he points out that Melissa went on to a public platform and essentially said that she puts food on the kids' plate. And Joey responds clarifying that she was just saying how supportive that they were towards the family, but even though that's what he says, Louis adds that, the nieces talk about it. Like, they obviously are not happy with the situation. So that's to show you that something is wrong and you need to do your part. Joey, he shuts it down. Like, he's like, don't bring his niece into it, Don't bring the kids. I feel like that was the line in the sand, And so pretty much he shuts it down and tells Louis that he's pretty much the new guy and that he should just be quiet and back off of what he's trying to say. But Louis is like, no. And it becomes a situation where you see Joey get emotional. And Louis, he kind of takes the angle saying that you should work it out with Teresa. And you should fix it and work it out because she loves you. You're her brother. And he says he's scared to keep trying because he doesn't want to get hurt again. So, Louis says how Joey's feelings are valid. And he pretty much he was able to USA and come down and try to push for him to, to take the time to talk to her one-to-one, And, we see how, Louis helps. We've seen how Melissa has helped. Now, it's if whether or not these two, Teresa and Joey, can work things out amongst themselves, Oh, that's a lot. But it was a great episode. I would say this one's a 9 for me. It was a 9.5 because this mozzarella party obviously was too much. The beef with Jack when the friendos have a good storyline to come up, I like that. Jackie and Danielle, yes. Rachel, I love her scenes. I felt like everyone was doing their part. Margaret, we didn't get much Margaret this episode, but I do want to see, like I said before, I want to see more of her relationship with her husband. I want to get into what's going on with Jennifer and her husband. That's about to pop off, and I'm like, oh no. But in the preview, my favorite part of the preview for the next episode, and I have to say this because I love Danielle. Danielle, she addresses Jackie and she did this hand movement like she was dancing, like she was voguing. I'm like, okay, Danielle, if that's not going to be considered an iconic moment, I don't know what else will. So, guys, if you enjoyed this recap, please like and share. And don't forget to subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed this. And I'll see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.